Socks are staying on, though, for hygiene.
I'm debating whether I want to cut that out or just leave it in.
You still have to
The
introduce
cold
the
open, me talking about stripping.
Yeah, that why the hell not? Hi, this is Ragtag Bag of Bastards, by the way.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yay!
Hello!
We're the bastards.
Are we? I thought we were the bag.
One of us is the bag. Hint, it's Rhodes. He holds us all.
He hold, but he also attack.
His hold.
I'm Doc, so I'm the DM. These guys are fuckwads, I don't know.
We deserve that.
That's more than fair. Oh, I didn't do vocal warm-ups. Shit, it's fine.
We did not come prepared today,
No,
guys.
no.
That's not true. I got
Get ready for a clusterfuck. Anyway, yeah, so, hopefully this won't actually be a clusterfuck, and all of that was just sarcasm. Hopefully. Oh god, hope.
Can we introduce ourselves?
Sort of. I'm Doc, I'm the DM. Next.
I'm KQ. I play Alezi, the half-orc barbarian. Next.
I'm Scott. I play Flynn, the half-elf rogue. Next.
I'm Renee. I play the tiefling bard Oona. Next.
And I'm Red, and I play the Asmar Paladin Rhodes. There's no one next, so do I just pass this to the Void, or...?
Yeah, Void sounds good.
Cool.
For the rest of the recording, you will be hearing the Void.
That's the sound.
You pass it to the void, and the void passes it back to you.
Shut up! Okay.
I swear we're not on drugs. I swear.
I'm on Adderall. I don't know what you're talking about.
This channel would be much more interesting if we were.
I'm on the drug of life. Let's do this.
I should clarify. It's legal Adderall. I have ADHD. In case it wasn't already evident.
Yeah, I'm in
Should we play some games?
California, so I could just get super high for one of these episodes, and that would be totally legal.
I'm in Washington.
Okay, we're on a time limit, guys.
Right, yeah. People have to go. So, last episode, you guys concluded your business in the drain and rescued Dragon, got him in a prison cell under suicide watch, and got him into the authorities, so hopefully they can take care of whatever's coming next. And then you guys went back to the inn. Oona insulted a dude with a crippling disability.
I don't think that counts.
It totally counts.
It absolutely
No.
counts.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't count as what exactly? See,
Okay,
you can't even figure it out.
I was like, nope, not gonna argue about it.
Yep. Anyway, and in the process learned about a place called Busker's Row, where she could conceivably attract the attention of a rich patron, and also the Spreading Rumor, a tavern of strange properties where supposedly rumors and knowledge can be found that can't be found anywhere else. And then drama happened, who gives a shit, and then you all went to bed.
Oh no, drama's gonna happen.
Great
this episode.
DM.
Yeah, I'm the best.
You just inherently don't care about stuff that doesn't actively involve you.
Wow. I will remember that.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, right.
Dox slightly disapproves.
Slightly. My wrath has been activated. Rhodes.
Time crunch,
will be-
guys.
Right. So, it's the next day. Woo!
Well,
Woo!
Whoa.
Alezi is up bright and early as usual.
Oona's
to
already
decide-
downstairs.
I'm trying to decide what time Rhodes arrives. Probably.
He probably has, morning to-dos.
Is that a euphemism?
Oh, it could be.
It's not. I'll say he gets there around 7.
7 o'clock, okay.
Alezi is already downstairs, eating her breakfast. She
Which is-
waves to her friend.
Is that me?
Yes.
Alright, Rhodes.
Her
goes.
only friend.
Are they the only two down here?
I think Oona said she was up.
Oh, cool.
Una's there, and also there is a pair of traveling merchants who were staying the night who are also getting breakfast in a corner somewhere.
Do I know they're merchants?
No.
Okay, they're just people.
Yeah, just background dressing. They literally do not matter.
Cool.
Now we're gonna go talk to them and make them matter.
No. Rhodes is gonna walk up. Good morning, you two.
Morning.
Morning.
Did you sleep well?
Good as can be expected.
I probably could have slept better,
Fair enough.
but it's very hot here.
I'm surprised you didn't say you were anxious about today.
Rhodes will
Why would-
sit down with them.
Why would I be anxious?
I don't know. We're going somewhere there's gonna be a lot of other bards.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to be able to talk to so many people. Think of all the stuff I can learn.
I think what Alezi's saying is bards are. At least she's words. At least she's assuming they're inherently competitive.
I mean, they're all looking for patrons.
Exactly.
It's gonna be competitive there.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
You didn't think about that?
No.
I think Oona was more interested in the spreading rumor than anything else.
What was that again?
A tavern, I guess, a place you go to hear stories.
It's a place where you can exchange stories, which I'm very excited about.
Basically, receive information for giving information, I guess.
Is that something you're looking for, Oona?
I think
Well,
she wants to fill her book.
I have so many
right,
pages.
the book. How's that going?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of stories of people almost dying, so it's going.
So, Oona, when you get there and you tell whatever story you are going to tell, what are you gonna ask for?
Well, you remember that guy Carl I talked to?
Yeah.
Well-
Fortunately,
Did you say unfortunately?
he didn't seem friendly.
He seemed friendly enough. He was just kind of what did I call him last night? Oh, a wet blanket.
I think he was just down in the dumps. He wasn't as good as he thought he was, and really, he just needs practice. Anybody just needs practice to get better at what they do.
Yeah, so, what about him?
Okay, so he has this problem
Uh-huh.
that's more like a curse,
Uh-huh.
and it was really interesting. So I had offered to find out information about it because he couldn't figure anything out when he went to the spreading rumor.
That's
Well,
very
I
kind
mean-
of you.
If he couldn't figure anything out, and he paid for the information with the story, what makes you think you're going to figure anything out there?
I kind of got the impression that he didn't tell them something they didn't already know.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, the spreading rumor is a great, from what he said, the spreading rumor is a great place to at least get pointed in the right direction. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're looking for the answer to a question or the way to lift a curse, or if you're looking for somebody, or find out if somebody's looking for you, or anything like that.
Did you,
So you're going to use your time to solve his curse? I'm not putting you down or anything. Just clarifying.
What's like a lit mystery book? Just because it seems like a not big deal at the time doesn't mean it's not something that won't turn into something later.
Hey, Oona has plenty of stories, I'm sure. Using one isn't so bad.
True, but how many opportunities are you given?
I mean, I guess we'll find out when we get there, won't we?
I am under the impression it's however many new stories you can tell, but you said something about finding people?
Yeah, they said because it's a place to exchange information for information, people, you can ask around for anything, and as long as you have a way to pay for it with a story or something, then really, like, you can find out anything. It's from what he told me.
Anything there is to be known, or anything they already know.
I mean, your only other option would be the Timeless Tomes.
Fair.
Alezi looks kind of thoughtful for a moment, and she turns back to Oona and says, actually, could you do me a little favor?
Sure, of course.
There's someone that, well, it's not a big deal, but there is someone I would like to track down if I could, and I'm no storyteller. I was thinking maybe you could help me out a little.
I mean, we'll be there anyway, but I'd love to help you, Alezi.
Okay. I guess if it comes to it, I'll tell you. I don't know. She
Rhodes is
looks a little flustered.
Okay. Rhodes is gonna frown and look at Alezi and say, "Are you alright?"
Yeah, it's really nothing, and it's a long shot anyway.
Alright.
I mean, we can always ask.
Yeah.
So who were you looking for anyway?
Well, my dad.
Rose's eyebrows are gonna go up. Oh.
See, I've never met him. I just know his name, and it would just be nice to know a little about him if I could. I'm not expecting a miracle, though. As far as I know, there's no real reason they would know anything about him.
Did your mom ever tell you anything?
Yeah. She told me his name, that, he was traveling with a group of other orcs. She said, seemed like they were doing something important, but, she didn't want to stick her nose into anybody's business. But he was gone by the time she knew she was pregnant, so there was no real way for him to know.
Hey, Docs?
Yeah.
As somebody who's grown up very heavily connected to the mother and her teachings, how would I feel about this?
Probably quite angry at Alezi's father, for one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, community is a big part of the mother's thing, and the responsibility of a father is a big part of the mother's thing. And so, yeah, this guy bailing before he even knew that he was going to be a father, that is not okay by the mother's standards.
Yeah. So, Rhodes is gonna kind of clench his jaw and say, "It's absolutely terrible. Not being involved with your life at all."
Well, he didn't know. I mean, there was no way he could know. And in fact, he probably thought it was highly improbable, considering, well, half-orcs aren't exactly common.
Well,
and your mother didn't try and contact him?
She didn't really like to talk about it. She just told me she hadn't seen him since, so...
He had a right to know you.
Well, I think so too, but there's been no real way for me to find him. All I have to go by is a name.
What's the name?
Tulgan Bloodoak.
Would you spell that for me, please?
Tulgan, then Blood Oak.
Does that mean your last name's Blood Oak, Alezi?
No, my last name's Ashford. I took my mom's.
Oh,
She's
Ashford's
the one who raised me, after all.
Well, that's neat. Well, we do have something to go on. His name's Tulgan Blood Oak, and he was doing something important in Northwall, at least. How old are you again?
23.
23 years ago. This is all this is just building blocks.
Like I said, it's a long shot. Don't use one of your good stories on it, okay? I'll try to think of a story I could tell if I can.
Alright.
Well, I think all we're doing is waiting on Flynn.
He's a late sleeper.
God, I'm not a morning person. And you see me come around the corner, and my hair's messed up, and I'm looking tired, and... is there coffee?
Lily brings by some coffee for you. This is apparently a pretty common thing for her, so she's already ready with your stuff.
Lily's a lifesaver.
Rhodes is gonna lean in and say, "I might ask about the cult of Vecna."
You think that's a good idea?
I thought we were leaving that alone.
It's
kind of Rhodes' job, you know?
I mean, it's not exactly my job. Unless the police contact us again and ask for our services. It is my duty, but not my assignment, per se. It's weighing on me, the idea that there might still be more out there.
If you want to do that, I'll be there for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to double check real quick because I can't remember. Do any of us know that about Rhodes' dad and the cult of Vecna?
No.
It's just Alezi.
Okay, that's what I was double checking because I don't remember.
Alezi knows?
Yeah.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, you did. You were there.
Okay, I didn't know that at this moment because I just woke up. Shut up.
Okay.
Remember,
right.
listeners, we are woefully unprepared for this.
Yeah, especially me. Oh god. Anyway, so right. Lily's brought out some coffee for Flynn, and has filled any breakfast orders. Same deal as the last time you guys ordered breakfast from her.
I don't typically do this morning thing, but I know you guys are all early risers, so I'm going to try to make a bit more of an effort.
Oh, we'd appreciate it.
I didn't mind waiting, but it's your choice.
Well, the more daylight hours we have, the more Oona can wander around Busker's Row and see the sights.
True, but from what I'm assuming, it's not a place that's really the morning market crowd.
Then that's even better because we'll get to see how they set up.
Just get to see how they tune their sound equipment.
As
We don't know, there might be
convention
tents.
goers, we know.
There might be tents.
Out of character.
Were you asking me something there, KQ?
Oh no, I was saying out of character as convention sellers, we know setup is half the battle.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So once after breakfast, is everybody ready to go?
Yep.
Yep.
Alright, so Busker's Road is far enough away that, again, you need to probably pick up some public transport, a above-ground tram or one of the subways,
We took subway last time, so we're probably better off taking the tram this time.
because that's how public transit works.
You take all the public transit when you come to a new city, so you know where they all go.
That's a lie. Even when I take public transit, I have to look up where everything goes.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, so you guys are going to take a tram?
Sure.
Alright, so you guys get on a tram and start heading south and east to the South of Market District. And about halfway there, the tram has to stop. But before we do that, is anybody talking on the tram?
I can't think of anything to talk about.
I mean, do we pass anything interesting on the tram on the way?
The tram would briefly go through the Arcane District, which is in the northeast part of town, and you would probably see some buildings that physically do not make sense, because that is how wizards work.
It's like the Unseen University.
Shut up, nerd.
Fight me.
It's like there are lots of buildings that are clearly being kept up more by magical means than by architectural means, and bridges between them. You'll see the occasional wizard just casually flying through the air.
Leaping wizards!
My planet needs me!
Fly is not a high-level spell. I don't understand how this is so incredible to you.
Oh!
Hyperventilating.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry I even brought it up. God damn.
That was a delight.
Una's like, wow, we should go to the Arcane District next time. You got flying wizards.
Okay.
Then pass through the market district, where you see all sorts of high-end stores and occasional street-side vendors just try to hawk various wares. If there's anything specific you're looking for, you might take a note on the tram. Because
Do I see any fine dwarven crafts?
of course.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, do we see our dwarf friend? How is she doing today?
Dwarf. Oh, you mean Griselda?
Yeah.
She's not on the tram line, so
Aw.
you don't see her.
I don't think Alezi knows anything else to particularly look for.
Okay. And then you get to the bridge over the Leyline River, and the tram has to make a very sudden stop. Like, you guys might stumble forward a bit for this.
Do we have to make saving rolls?
No need for that. It's nothing.
Boo.
It's not that incredible. I mean, you can make one if you want to. Do you really
Are
want
Are we
to
all?
fate
Are
like
we all? Are we all Star Trekking? Like.
That was gonna be my question.
that? Yeah, basically.
I'm gonna make a roll to see if Rhodes falls down.
It's gonna
What
be
would that
really
be?
funny. And
If
cool.
anyone would, it would make sense for Rhodes, because Rhodes has got all that heavy armor, so they're going to sway more.
He's heavy, he's 6'7".
There's
what would that be?
That'd be fine.
What? No. What kind of save?
Acrobatics, if you really want to do that.
Yes.
The operator comes out of the front room
I got a 3!
while as Rhodes face plants. The operator comes out of
laughing her ass off.
the operator comes out of the front room and says, sorry folks, there has been a bit of technical difficulty. I need all of you to get off the tram, and we're going to refund your travel price. Very sorry about this.
Bummer.
Alezi
Rhodes is
sighs,
gonna start
helps
barking.
Rhodes up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rhodes has to get off from being supine
Yeah.
and then walk off the train.
As you guys get off, the operator is handing out vouchers for 2 free train rides, so you guys don't have to pay for the next couple.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
And
So, where exactly are we?
you guys are in the Market District at the very south edge, at the Leyline River, and you can see that the bridge that the tram was going to go over is not there anymore. It is a smoldering ruin.
Uh-oh.
By the 9.
Well, that's not good.
Think it was some sort of bomb?
Rhodes is gonna look around. Does he see anybody in authority?
There's the tram operator, and then you can see a couple of members of the local police who are working on who are trying to guide people away from the bridge.
I'm gonna try and walk up to them.
So you go up to one of them, an orc man who looks you over and goes, "Oh, well, wish you were here last night. Not much you can do at this point, so move along."
Yes, of course. Could I possibly know what happened?
Some adventurer assholes. I don't know the details, but there's some sort of fight here and they exploded.
They exploded?
Or something. I only know the aftermath. There is some sort of fight here with some goddamn adventurers. That's all I know.
Against who?
I don't... How many times do I gotta tell you? I don't know the details.
My apologies. Sorry.
If you really need to know, you can head to the local office. I don't know if they're going to have anything to say to you, but, let's see, Alezi would probably know where this is, thanks to her background.
Yeah. Let's get out of this officer's way, Rhodes. He's
Yes,
busy.
of course. Thank you for your time.
Right.
Rhodes is gonna turn to the group. I don't like this. I don't like the way this smells.
I wonder how they just exploded.
Well, I'm sure one of them used magic or had a bomb or something.
Make perception checks, folks.
Can do see. Hell yeah. I got a 21.
You got 5.
I see all, because I'm 6'7".
And so-
17 from Flynn.
Okay, so...
This actually corresponds with our heights, doesn't it?
It does!
Yeah.
Alright, so, Flynn and Rhodes know that, in addition to the police, there's someone else you should be looking for in these kinds of situations if you're looking for information. A reporter. So,
Oh my god, find Lois Lane.
Fucking April O'Neil, where is she?
Cool, okay.
Both of us asked for female reporters. That's great.
So looking around, you do note a halfling man who is standing on the railings with a notebook and who is taking notes furiously, attempting to get an occasional word from the police. And
Does he have a newsy cap with a little card stuck in it?
I was
No.
gonna ask that!
No, he has brown hair, simple-looking spectacles. He's wearing a pair of denim pants and a simple T-shirt.
Does it say anything on it?
No, it's a plain shirt.
Oh.
Like, if it weren't for the notepad, you wouldn't really notice him. But he's got his notepad. He's scribbling down notes furiously. As is the usual halfling style, he is barefoot, and he's just generally poking around. And to his credit, he is not bothering the police when he doesn't. Like, he's not spending time badgering the police, but he is definitely doing what one might call generously investigative journalism.
Is he wearing a press badge?
Not that you can see.
No form of ID on him?
Not that you can see.
Setting. Alright. I'm gonna... If Flynn sees it too, I'm gonna nod to Flynn, like, let's go talk to that guy.
I don't know. I don't really think it's our problem, to be honest. I think it's just a couple of amateur adventurers. We made similar mistakes.
You blew up an entire bridge?
I almost got these two killed when I went up against some spiders.
Yes, but was that public damage?
I don't know. I'm just saying, amateur adventurers make mistakes. I think this is just a case of that. If you want to talk to him, go ahead, but I don't see it as our problem.
I'm worried it's terrorism. I'm going to talk to him.
Okay.
Why are you guys laughing?
Rhodes is a worrywart.
Rhodes is concerned about people. Excuse him.
Alright, so you're heading up to the halfling?
Yep.
as you
Sorry,
approach.
Rhodes is the only one in this group who gives a shit about the public well-being.
Did you say it was a reporter? Because Una's 100% game for reporter, but I don't know
Alezi
shit,
didn't-
man.
Alezi didn't say she didn't care. She didn't see the halfling, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Flynn cares. He just doesn't think that we can do anything about it.
Rhodes
anyway,
just wants to check it out.
Anyway,
Not everything is our problem.
Hey! We got a time limit.
Yeah, I know.
To Una's question that I've been trying to answer for 2 minutes now, he has all the telltale signs of being a reporter or some kind of detective, maybe. Like he is definitely gathering information about this scene. Once Rhodes points him out, so that everyone else notices him, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
So Rhodes goes up to him. He glances over his shoulder at you, and then looks back to the wreckage, and is like, "Man, somebody did a number on this. You know anything about it?"
I was hoping you did.
I know a bit.
How much is a bit?
I can tell you enough that it's going to be interesting in the papers tonight.
Alright.
Do you think you could give us a scoop?
Why?
We're not looking for a scoop. We're not reporters. We're concerned citizens.
I'm trying to speak the lingo roads. Come on.
Why don't
I'm trying to get hit with this jive.
Alezi nudges Oona and says, "Why don't we prepay for the paper?"
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with that.
Right.
To pull out his money too.
So how much is the paper?
I'll say a gold for the information right now. For all of you.
Okay.
That's fair. Alezi will pay. She has the most gold right now because she was stingy and didn't share her wealth.
He palms the coin, puts it in a pocket, nods, turns his attention fully to you guys, goes, "So it was a fight. Adventurers, I have not figured out their names yet, but in order to do this kind of collateral damage, they had to be pretty powerful sorts. Not sure, but from what I can tell, they were fighting against some sort of demon, it seems like.
Demon?
Yeah.
From the abyssal planes?
Yeah, but my guess is from the abyss, based on the smell of sulfur and all that. Devils have a different signature to them, you see. But they're doing some sort of fighting. My guess is some sort of concealed thing. My guess is that this demon had been taking some sort of disguise and has been here for a while. These adventurers found him out and had a throwdown.
Did they make it?
The adventurers? As far as I know, yeah. I haven't seen any corpses being taken away.
Alright. Well,
My guess is, and this is just conjecture, so I'm not going to be publishing this. That'd be irresponsible.
of course.
But my guess is that the demon did some sort of teleportation spell to get away, and they pursued.
Makes sense.
That's just a guess. Don't quote me on that one.
Mm.
In fact, don't quote me on any of this shit. This is my story.
Oh, of course.
Don't worry, your secret's
Like we
safe.
said, we're not reporters.
Alright.
Well, or just look at the rest of the group. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks for the gold. It's gonna pay me for some more paper.
What? Wait, what?
And he says it's going back into his business.
Yeah.
Oh.
He holds up the notebook, and it's a very nice leather-bound notebook. Says,
Okay.
These do get expensive.
Understandable. Well, have a good day.
Yeah, take it easy. Oh, and if you're trying to get across the river, he gives quick instructions on the nearest next bridge.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
I was gonna look for like a fucking street map.
Road
So,
kiosk.
like I said, not really our problem.
Well,
This happens from time to time. You're not the only adventurers around, and you're also, by far, not the highest level adventurers around. So, yeah, other people do things that cause collateral damage. It happens. Cool. So, yeah, you guys have instructions to get to the next closest bridge.
Rhodes, if you still want to go to the police station, I know where it is, but I think everything's handled here. We could just start heading to Busker's Row on foot.
no, you're right. I think I'm a little high-strung after the well incident.
Yeah, I get you. She just kind of pats him on the shoulder. It's a reach, but she does it.
Pat.
All right. So you guys heading south?
Yep.
Looks like.
Cool. So the detour takes you a good 30 minutes to get total to get to Busker's Row, rather, not just to get across the river. But you need to go by foot because the tram line is interrupted. And you're close enough that getting on another tram is not a efficient use of your time. So you guys head to the south of Market District. This is a middle-class residential area. You see a lot of apartment buildings, some small restaurants and taverns. No other than service industry stuff, no businesses. Like there are no factories here. There are no places of employment. Like this is a place where people go to live, and this is middle class. Like you've got enough that you can. So the rent here would be significantly more expensive than what you would see in Shadeside. Not to even mention the drain.
So it's the suburbs of.
The suburbs are the suburban area is individual houses. So you've been to the suburbs. It was the Sunrise District outside of town. These are apartment buildings. So the rent is more expensive, but your rooms are going to be small. It's not the same thing as a suburb at all.
Basically, it's downtown.
Yeah.
Kind of what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, you could call it downtown too. So yeah, that's where you are. It's a very friendly area. You see lots of sidewalks, and there are trees planted regularly within these sidewalks. Lots of shade, lots of natural shade. The buildings are all painted invitingly. Mostly stonework buildings. And yeah, that's the area you're in. You continue heading south to get to the Busker's Row. The detour has messed up your instructions a little bit, so you get lost for a small amount of time before you get back on track. And eventually you do make your way to Busker's Row, also known as Wardell's Lane. Whereas most of the buildings in the South Market District have been newer and made of stone and going like 10 to 20 stories tall. Like these are tall apartments. The buildings here, this is definitely an older part of town. The buildings here tend to be made of wood and showing unpainted cross beams filled in with white plaster. Think of the stereotypical German town sort of thing. So the street has actually been cordoned off from vehicular traffic. There are stone pylons up to prevent vehicles from coming in. So this is all foot traffic on the cobblestone road. You see stalls with food that have been set up on the sides of the streets. And then, of course, there are the performers. You can see all sorts of instruments, all sorts of skill levels present, and all sorts of costuming going on as well. So I would say between the stopping to talk to the reporter and the detour, it would be something like 8:45-ish in the morning. Does that sound about right to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there aren't a whole lot of people walking the streets yet. These are mostly performers tuning up and kind of marking their territory in a way. There's definitely a lot of competition for space, and so you see the performers pacing the streets, looking around. You'll occasionally see a couple of people have a hushed conversation, probably trying to negotiate, okay, who gets to stand here to perform today? And there are people tuning up, there are people rehearsing, and you also see a whole lot of taverns and restaurants for the buildings here. There aren't a whole lot of residents as far as you can tell, but there's a whole lot of service industry stuff. These are restaurants that have been set up a lot of them are trying to be like a meeting place between the performers who tend to be, struggling for money and doing, only like not willing to spend a whole lot on fancy food, and then the nobles who expect a certain level of service when they go to a place. So a lot of these restaurants are trying to be fancy but cheap, sort of. and you can, like, if you really look for it, you can see the seams where the facade kind of strains to cover up the fact that they're trying to be on the cheap. And so right now, there aren't a whole lot of people actually looking to listen to the buskers, so it's mostly people tuning up and rehearsing.
Are the food stalls open?
The food stalls some of them are open, some of them are still cooking.
Leslie's gonna motion to the whispering bards while she's turned to Oona and say, well, if you ever wanna come around here to play, you might want to start making some friends. It looks like they are negotiating for some space.
I don't know, it kind of looks like it might be a lover's spat.
Docs, does it look like, in my opinion, a lover's spat?
No.
Alezi just looks very flat at Oona. Like, sometimes I don't think you know the words you are saying.
Rhodes is gonna turn to Oona. This is my territory, and that's not a lover's spat.
I mean, but are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
You really need to get some practice in on the whole romance aspect of your stories, Oona.
I mean, I've read about it a lot, and look at them. They've got a lot of sexual tension going on.
There is zero sexual tension involved in this situation.
Alezi's face looks even flatter.
Rhodes laughs. Oona, you can't learn about love from a book.
I would argue against that, because you can learn anything from a book.
You can learn how to sew a pair of pants back together. You can't learn what love feels like.
I don't think you've read enough poetry then, Rhodes.
I've written.
I mean, she might be hopeless. I've never been in love, and even I know better.
Flynn is absolutely rolling his eyes right now.
I'm sorry, Flynn, did you want to be included in this? Rhodes laughs.
God, no, I do not.
Anyway, as I was saying, are you looking to play here someday?
I mean, eventually, but I mean, even if it's not a lover's spat, I don't want to interrupt people arguing. Why don't I try talking to anyone who is warming up, probably?
Alright. Who looks the most friendly?
Insight checks.
Alezi got a 20. Not a nat 20, though.
Yep.
Got a 10.
17.
13.
Alright, so, Oona, you're a little overwhelmed. You're not sure who you would go to. Same for Rhodes. Flynn and Alezi. Alright, so you notice a pair of performers. You think they might actually be siblings. It's a little hard to tell. So one of them is a slim man with angular features. He has pale skin and light blonde hair. It falls about to his mid-back, and he's got it tied up into a loose ponytail. He has a patch of beard over his chin, which is very much in style right now. Like, this is considered the in vogue way of cutting one's facial hair. He is wearing a red vest with a blue dress shirt and blue pants, and he is doing vocal exercises. Meanwhile, another man, he looks to be a little older and a little heavier set, but they have similar facial features. He has short, dark brown hair and a full beard, and looks to be, he's a little taller and significantly heavier, and he is plucking strings on a guitar and also doing vocal exercises.
And they're human?
They are both human. Most of the people here are human. This is a predominantly human city. So, while there is a presence of all of the other races and they're all accepted here, the majority of the people here are human. So, like, in your mental image is mostly humans around. And they are both, they're not arguing over a place to perform, and they both seem to be in good spirits.
Right. Leslie's gonna point them out and say, what about those two over there? They seem friendly enough.
Okay, let's go ask them.
You lead the way. This is your show.
Okay.
Does Oona have any instruments displayed on her person?
I'm pretty sure the Luan's, like, massive and would not be concealed.
Remind me what that looks like.
It's basically a lute, but, like, rounder.
Okay. Oh, right. I remember the pictures you showed me. Okay. So you guys approach these two?
Alezi has pushed Oona to the front.
The two look up as you approach. They don't cease their preparations, but they do nod at Oona as they note her instrument.
It's like, hello.
The older of the two continues strumming on the guitar, but ceases his vocal warm-ups and goes, "Good morning, madam. If you need this spot, do let us know. We're not going to be staying just here for very long."
Oh no, this is actually my first time on Busker's Row.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I was just kind of wondering how it worked.
That's interesting. The younger brother stops his vocal warm-ups and looks you over and goes, "Would you say this actually works, brother?" The older guy goes, "Sort of. Yeah, there's no real official system. It's like you gotta. So, how to put it? The unspoken agreement that I'm about to speak, whatever, is that whatever you're supposed to make sure that people get the best show. So if you think you're gonna be better than the other guy, you and the other guy hash it out, and whoever is going to put on the better show is the one who gets the spot."
Sounds very civil.
Very what?
Civil?
Civil. Okay. I heard simple at first. It's like, wait, what? No. Right, civil. Yeah, no, it ain't. You see those two, and he points to the two that you saw that you thought was a lover spat a moment ago. He's like, "I got a bet with my brother here, 3 silver that breaks out in a fist fight within 5 minutes."
I'll take that bet.
All right, what you betting?
5 silver.
All right, I got 5 silver that it's gonna 5 silver for the fist fight or against.
Against.
All right, you got it. And he produces 5 silver and nods and says, 5 minutes. Those two will be trying to beat each other up.
Does that
We'll
happen
see.
here often?
Yep.
Can I, get a closer look at the two of them?
Sure. You would have
look them over a bit better.
You would probably have to leave this conversation in order to do so.
Someone's gonna try and cast friends.
For friends.
I'm not like I'm not like closely inspecting them. I'm like, I don't know.
Like from a distance, you can't really tell what they're talking about. They're keeping it hushed.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little closer, but not so close that it looks like I'm interfering with anything.
Okay.
I forgot what I was gonna say before he started talking about that. Do you think the person who told me about this place, he said a lot of people are always looking for patrons. Does that happen a lot here?
Oh, not a lot. And it only happens to the people who are prepared for it. And he gives a wink.
Prepared?
By the way, my name's Argus, and the older brother holds out a hand to shake. The younger waves and goes, "My name's William."
Oh, Oona. And I shake his hand.
Nice to meet you, Oona.
These are my compatriots, Alezi, Rhodes, and the tall fellow who took your bet is Flynn.
Rhodes furrows his brow at Flynn being called tall.
Alezi chortles.
So does Argus, actually.
Every single one of you is tall to Oona.
God,
For what it's worth, Argus is a solid 6 foot, and William is 5'9".
Every single one of them
That's
is
cute.
tall.
Alezi isn't too much taller than Oona.
Yeah.
Anyway, Flynn, roll me an insight check with disadvantage.
Okay.
You can't tell from this distance how the conversation is going.
Okay.
So, William steps forward and begins speaking. Right, yeah, so we have been... There's a lot that goes into getting a patron, and a lot of the newbies here don't really understand how to go about it. So, we've got a gambit planned for today, and if we're right, we'll tell you all about how to... Well, we won't need this spot anymore, you see. So we'll tell you all about our little secret.
Well, I don't want to put you guys out because I'm not looking for a patron or anything today. I just want to know how this all works.
Well, we'll tell you all of our secrets if we get this, if this goes right. Argus shoots William an inquisitive look, and the two of them seem to be having a quiet conversation between each other. Roll an Arcana check, Oona.
Oh my god, mouse work.
How far away is Flynn from the other conversation at this moment?
We'll say like 50 feet.
Okay.
I got a 20, not a nat.
Okay. So, Oona, you would be aware that it is sometimes the case that siblings can have a psychic connection. They might actually be sending each other thoughts right now.
So it's kind of like they always have like a
Twin
message
Sort of.
cantrip going.
Sort of. But you definitely get the sense that some sort of conversation that you can't hear is going on for a moment. And then William looks to you and goes, "Actually, you might be able to help us with this. Do you know the story of the Red Knight?"
Do I know the story?
Roll a performance check, but instead of charisma, I want intelligence.
Wait, what?
Give me an intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus, because I know I know you're proficient in performance, and the same for the rest of you.
Wait, so like a +2, +5?
No, 1 second. Let me bring up your sheet.
Okay, because you're confusing me.
Whatever your intelligence modifier is, plus your proficiency bonus.
Right. So your bonus on this would be a +4. So you got a 15. In the book, it says outright that the DM can call for alternate abilities on skill checks.
Okay.
So like if you're trying to do an endurance run, you might call for Constitution athletics. Like that is a thing that you can do.
Flynn rolled a nat 20.
Damn, son.
Alezi got 17.
All right.
Performance? Did I actually?
If you are
I should have gotten 18 on that. Sorry.
okay, well, cool. So everybody rolled in the 18 to 20 range. Okay. So all of you are familiar with this play that he's referencing, The Tale of the Red Knight. And it is a well-known opera. It is a tragedy. The basic plot line is there are 4 characters: the Red Knight, the Blue Knight, the White Mage, and the Dark Mage. And the basic plot of the story is that the Dark Mage has an army of whatever. It's usually zombies, sometimes it's demons, just an army of bad things that are oppressing a given kingdom. And the Red Knight is sent to fight them alone because he has been given enchanted armor and weapons by the White Mage. And the Red Knight is the White Mage's child. So the Red Knight goes out to fight this army, loses, and is supposedly killed. Later, the White Mage is speaking to their other child, the Blue Knight, trying to urge the Blue Knight not to go out to fight this army because he would simply kill. He or she, we're going to get to that in a second, that they would be killed. And the Blue Knight eventually decides to disobey their parent and goes out to fight this army of the Dark Mage. Succeeds to a point until they find the Red Knight not actually dead, but serving the Dark Mage, and bitter that none of the people that they were fighting for assisted them in that first fight. So the Blue Knight tries to convince the Red Knight to join them against the Dark Mage. The Red Knight refuses, citing that the people they're protecting will not stand up to protect themselves. And eventually they end up fighting. The Blue Knight kills the Red Knight at the order of the people that they are trying to protect. And this breaks the Blue Knight's spirit. He or she walks away, and the Dark Mage orders their army to slaughter the people, to punish them for their rebellion. I am going to be a proper writer and cite my sources. This is basically the plot of the first album from the Proto. Very good album. I highly recommend it. Anyway, it is a play that was written a long time ago that has been sort of retrofitted to suit a new style of playwright where the writers do their best not to set a gender or race for any of the characters. So literally any actor can play these parts.
Okay.
So that's why I've been trying to be vague about the genders of it. This has come about partially because in the original form, all of the characters in this play were supposed to be male, except for people in the crowd who were representing the ones who were being protected by the Red Knight and Blue Knight. So at this point, the only thing is that there is a lyric in the songs that refer to the Red Knight as a son. So the Red Knight is kind of set as a male actor, but there have been people who've kind of done slant rhymes to change that up. But other than that, it's just they keep it as vague as possible so anyone can play the part.
Okay.
And I would say that all of you are familiar enough with this that you could actually potentially sing some of the part. Like that, the threshold for that was a 15, all of you.
Woo. This
So
must be a very popular opera.
it's pretty popular, actually. It's one of the more well-known ones and more successful.
Question.
Yes.
Besides, light mage, dark mage, sort of obviously tied to good and evil, do the colors have any other symbology?
Not really. It's mostly about the costume.
Okay.
As far as you can tell, there have definitely been directors who've tried to add a symbology to the Red and Blue Knight, but it hasn't really stuck.
Thinking out loud here, in Romeo and Juliet, they usually color code the families in red and blue, with the Capulets being traditionally in red because they're angrier people. And it doesn't seem like I'm that far based in thinking about the Red Knight that way.
You're not wrong. The Red Knight definitely has an anger to him.
And he has a passion to him, and red is usually...
Yeah, I mean, it starts as passion and turns to anger, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, so any other questions before we get back to it?
No.
All right. So William has asked Oona, do you know the Ballad of the Red Knight?
Oh, yes. I've definitely heard of it.
Do you know the part of the audience during the finale?
Oh, yeah. That's very exciting.
Okay, good. We actually were going to just improvise this and hope that somebody watching would take up the part, but if we could use you as a plant to start that off, it would actually really help us out.
Yeah, sure. It sounds fun.
All right, wonderful. Argus nods and says, good call. All right, so we're planning to start our gambit in about 45 minutes. And if we've timed this out right, we will need you 30 minutes after, just to be in the crowd and be ready to start the part.
That sounds reasonable. I think we might go locate a building, and then we'll come back. That should give you plenty of time, I think.
Sure. We're going to be running around a lot, and if you really want to see how to score a patron, if we've done this right, what you need to do is observe what we're about to pull up.
All right.
Excellent. Hey, nice meeting you, Oona.
Has it been 5 minutes?
It's probably been... No, it wouldn't have been, because most of that was me talking about the Red Knight, which would have been not actual time passing. And also, let me roll some dice. Oh, yeah. And they have... So, one of them has actually grabbed the other by the collar, and they're no longer hushed. They're the two who are quarreling are starting to raise their voices, and then the other one casts some sort of spell that causes the other to back off, clutching his head in pain. And after that, the two of them go at it and start beating each other up.
Alezi just goes, now there's some entertainment.
Rhodes is like, oh, Jesus. Someone stop that.
There's a small crowd of other performers watching, just most of them just kind of laughing, a couple of them cheering them on. And
okay, Rhodes is gonna try and go break it up then.
Argus holds out his hand to William, who passes over 3 silver, and then he holds out his hand to Flynn.
And Flynn hands him 5 silver.
Nods, says, "What I tell you, that's how things work here." All right, Rhodes, you're going over to help break it up. Is anybody else doing anything?
Alezi's gonna get
Watching.
closer. She's just going to make sure no one else gets involved.
No one else is trying to get involved. Like, this is a spectator thing.
Yeah, she's just making sure they're not gonna hurt anybody, like, offhand.
All right.
That there's not gonna be any innocent bystanders suffering.
Gotcha. So, Rhodes, you approach, and by this point they're shouting, and one of them's like, "You cannot possibly actually believe that the lute is a superior instrument," and the other is like, "What are you talking about? Your flute sounds like a dead bird or something, I don't know," and they're just punching each other.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get in between them then.
Alright, you get between them. They are attempting to get at each other, so I need you to roll a strength acrobatics check, or not acrobatics, athletics check. Alright, so you're able to get between them and, like, hold them back. They are definitely attempting to thrash at each other. One of them appears, has, the one who was talking about, how the lack of merit for a lute has actually pulled out his flute and is trying to brandish it like a bludgeon. But not really getting
Okay.
not really getting much into it. Rhodes is able to grab his wrist to keep him from actually doing anything, and you've got them.
What are you gonna do? Break your lute? Or flute?
And so, yeah, at this point, Rhodes, you need give me, what are you doing to get them to stop? You've got them under control. They're not going to be able to hurt each other right now.
I was gonna talk.
Talk. Do it.
Yeah. Come on, don't make a spectacle. If you end up getting into too hard a fight, you'll break both instruments, and then there'll be nothing to argue over.
Roll a diplomacy check. Persuasion.
It's called persuasion, but okay.
Yeah, persuasion. You'll occasionally find me regressing back into 3rd edition, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, no, it happens to me all the time.
I invested far too much brain space in 3rd edition, so it's gonna come up. Alright, so your words get them to calm down. They back off a little bit. The one brandishing his flute goes, "This spot is mine." The one with the lute, who to his credit, is not trying to use it as a weapon, says, "You have not earned it. This place belongs to whoever's going to put up the better performance, and that is me." And I'm pausing here to let one of you say something.
Rhodes doesn't know anything. I mean, he knows music that he likes, but he's gonna say, "You're gonna have to find a way to settle this without coming to blows."
Says who? And they both
Says
turn
me.
to you. And who are you?
I'm a paladin of the lover.
And what gives you any kind of authority here? This is the place of the muse.
You want to continue public fighting and have me go get the police?
They pause at that.
There we go.
But neither of them are going away. The matter of who gets to stay here is completely unsettled still.
Oona shouts from a distance, "Parchment rock shears!"
How about that?
I don't think they're gonna go for that.
They are not going for that.
What about a judge?
Yeah, Alezi was going to say, "Oh, why don't you play something for us? We can decide for you."
Have Oona decide. This is her jurisdiction.
There are a lot of performers around, and as Alezi says that, one of them goes, "That'll work. How about you both play a minute of music, and let us performers decide who's the better performer."
There we go. And Rhodes is gonna step out of the way.
The two of them seem all right with that, and proceed to have a music off.
Okay. Rhodes is gonna walk away.
As Rhodes gets back in line, Flynn just kind of leans over and says, "Goody two shoes."
Are you angry with me? What?
I think
Jesus, relax.
you, Rhodes.
I am
Relax.
I'm relaxed.
You're really not. You're really not.
They do a quick coin flip to see who'll go first, and the flutist wins that.
Flynn, I didn't want to see two people get into a fight.
The flutist performs and does a good performance. Not a great performance. Oona, you think that you could do a little bit better, but not a whole lot better? He's good. He's definitely not bad. And then the lute player performed.
Is Flynn not gonna respond?
I'm waiting because Docs is talking.
Oh,
Yeah. It seems weird that because
you can-
like 2 people perform in the span of waiting.
yeah. While you two, I'll announce his thing while you two figure out your thing. Keep going.
You're in the wrong line of work then, dude.
I only fight as a means of self-defense or protection.
Yeah, but you're gonna see a lot more people fighting.
Hey, why don't we all just calm down? There's no reason for this conversation.
I'm sorry I don't revel in bloodshed.
The Ludus plays.
It wasn't gonna be bloodshed. Black Eye is at the best.
And he gets a pretty middling performance. It's almost unanimous that the flutist did better.
I don't like any bodily injury.
It's a natural part of life, especially when you're in this line of work. You're going to see it happen a lot, and you're not always going to be able to stop it.
And I won't when I can't, Flynn.
The ludist seems to be trying to protest the results, saying that he deserves a retrial, but the rest of the performers are rallying around the flutist at this point. The ludist has no ground to stand on.
Alezi's going to get in between Rhodes and Flynn. She's like, guys, stop. This isn't the place. We already broke up one fight. We don't need to fight amongst ourselves.
I was going to hit him.
This is your kind of fighting. I know you're not going to hit him. We don't need to be having an argument here.
The ludist walks away looking very angry.
They'll
I'm
make
just
up
gonna
later.
Go off and try and get some food.
All right. There's all sorts of food places around. Just let me know what you're looking for, and you can probably find it.
Just one of the easy accessible.
All right. You can get like kebabs or something pretty easily.
Yeah, Alezi's going to turn to Flynn. It's like, what is wrong with you?
I was just teasing Rhodes a bit. I think...
Yeah, I was trying to tell him you were teasing. He's Rhodes. He doesn't get that. You should have stopped, okay? Next time you see he's not getting that you're teasing, you need to stop.
I get that, but my point still stands that he's going to see a lot more fighting, and not everything is his problem. And he's going to have to face that one day.
Yeah, he's not going to get that from this conversation.
It's like, well, let's go find the spreading rumor, guys.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you guys get back together.
I just want to find out where it is, and then make sure I'm back in time to play the crowd, or whenever I need to be back.
So Arcus and William have come up to look at the fight, so you can ask them.
Oh, so Arcus, when do you need me back, though?
Like I said, maybe... So we're going to be starting in, 45 minutes, and then by the time we need the audience to participate, it'd be something like, 30 minutes? He looks to William for confirmation, who nods. So we'll need you in, an hour and some change.
So we got an hour.
Yep, just about.
Okay. Then we're gonna go find the thing.
What thing?
But we're heading over to the spreading rumor, or at least we're gonna find out where it is.
Okay, I thought that was said out loud, and so Argus was responding.
Yeah, no, that was out loud.
Okay, so Argus is like, oh, the spreading rumor. Why do you want to go there?
I heard it was a good place to find information. Is it not?
It's... how to put it? If you're looking for inspiration, it can be a great place to go if you're, trying to write a song or a play. But if you're actually looking for information, William cuts in and is like, don't listen to Argus. He's just overly suspicious about people. And Argus goes, look, all you gotta do to prove my point is go there and ask them about the organization what owns the place. And you'll understand my problem immediately. Just ask 3 people about it, and you'll see. Anyway, if you really gotta find it, he gives you directions. It's just at the end of the block.
So, if you don't like this place, where would you suggest for accurate information?
I mean, depends on what you're looking for. Just go to a library.
Well, what if you were wanting to find someone?
I don't know. Pay a private eye. Get to talk to a diviner. I don't know. That's not my specialty. William pipes in and goes, don't listen to him. I would actually say that the spreading rumor is a great place to go to at least get started on that kind of thing. They can get you, it's weird how much people know there. And then Argus cuts in. It's not weird because they're making shit up. William comes in. Brother, listen, we need to be in tune for this, so let's put this conversation aside. You folks, go there and see for yourselves. All right? Argus rolls his eyes
Okay.
and is fine. Well,
Is there actually, while we're walking to the spreading rumor, what else is on that street?
you see all kinds of taverns and restaurants. That's so like I said, the establishments here are definitely catering to being that connection between bohemian interests and noble interests.
Okay. So is there actually a diviner on the street?
A diviner, no. That would be specialty services. Just passively, you would suspect the place to look for that would be in the Arcane District, not this place.
Okay. I didn't know if like a diviner was like a fortune teller who's like, oh yes, and you're gonna have 20 babies.
Those diviners exist, but there is such a thing as there's a difference between a fortune teller and a diviner. A fortune teller is usually considered a charlatan. There are legitimate spellcasters who specialize in divination. Give me Arcana checks, those who want them. 23 from Oona, 17 for Flynn. Anybody else rolling for this?
I would, but I'm not there.
Okay. So...
Alezi's not.
Okay. So in that case, I need Alezi and Rhodes to deafen.
And Dusky.
Alright. So, both of you would understand that divination is mostly about finding things. The best way to utilize divination is to cast a spell to look at a remote location or tell you the location of something, and you have to specify things. You often have to have a picture or a very thorough description of whatever you're looking for to give to the diviner, because most divination spells require you to have at least some level of familiarity with the object or person that you're looking for. As far as looking into the future, Flynn, as far as you know, that's not really what diviners do. Flynn, do you have any questions at this?
Nope.
Alright, so I need you to deafen. Alright, Oona, you know a bit more. There are ritual spells that supposedly can peek into the future. However, they are usually very vague and prone to change. You will see a lot of fortune tellers talk about destiny and fate and predestination. It is a matter of arcane fact that is not the case. Any attempt to look in the future is risky because the future can change. So there are ways to get ideas of what might be happening in the future, and all of it is subject to change, and all of it will be vague.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I think that answered it really well.
Okay. Let's get everyone back. So what are you guys up to?
I'm still getting food.
Okay. I mean, you've got your
I
food.
probably got it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got it by now, and you can reunite with the others.
No, someone has to come get me.
Fair enough.
We're always so bad about this. Someone needs to come get me. No.
Well, Rhodes he's not feeling great. He's kind of glum now, so he's gonna stand and eat his kebab until he gets
It might be that the party splits up here. And that's fine. I can deal with a split party. Cake, you can tell you about that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess no one cares enough about Rhodes to go get him. Okay.
No, Uno will go get him.
Nobody knows where Rhodes went.
He clearly went and just...
It's pretty hard to miss.
I'm sure he didn't go out of sight. Alezi would definitely go back for...
Yeah. Alright, so Oona and Alezi go find Rhodes, who's just on the side, eating a kebab.
Question. Does Oona know what a kebab is? Because I actually don't know if they have anything kebab-like.
You would have learned about that passing through Hololo.
Okay.
I am a
Why do
fucking
kebabs
idiot. I started...
always come up?
Because they're a very easy street food.
I'm a fucking idiot. I thought you were going to finish that sentence with, because I don't know what a kebab is, and I was more than happy to explain what it was. Oh, for those who don't know, a kebab is this.
It's like, no, I was actually, I really love kebabs.
Yeah. So Oona would at least have seen them before, and know what they're called.
Okay, does Oona know, what a kebab actually is, or what rumors of kebabs actually are?
I have 30 minutes, Renee.
Okay, fine.
So hey, you two are with Rhodes now, and Flynn is just hanging out, I guess.
I'm a few feet back.
Alright.
It's like, Rhodes, we're gonna go find the spreading rumor real quick before we need to come back for the performance. Are you still coming with?
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Sorry.
No, that's are you sure? Are you good?
I mean, I'm a little upset, if we're being honest.
Look, Flynn wasn't trying to argue with you. It started as teasing, alright?
And then he tried to tell me what to do.
Yeah, I understand. I told him he should have stopped.
I know, I'm just gonna have to try and get used to that. I don't like it.
I mean, I think you should probably just imagine he's like an annoying little brother and assume everything that's coming out of his mouth is to mess with you.
I mean, you know all about that, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, I do. No, I should never say that. Fortunately, I do. Alright, let's press on.
Right, woo!
We're off to the spreading rumor.
All right. So you get to the spreading rumor. The spreading rumor is at the corner of the street. It's like at the very edge of what would be considered Busker's Row. It's lined with a lot of windows, all of which have elaborately carved arches over them. There is the roof. You look up and you can see elaborate gargoyles peering down at you. Some of them are carved like beautiful people, and some of them are carved to be more demonic. It alternates between something appealing and something horrific between each gargoyle. All of them humanoid, all of them with wings, some of them feathered, some of them leathery, and the whole thing is like a weird contrast between inviting and intimidating. The sign over the door declares itself to be the spreading rumor, and it has an emblem featuring an open, smiling mouth cupped by a hand speaking into a waiting ear.
This is the weirdest tavern I've ever seen.
You bards are weird, so let's go.
You haven't even gone inside yet.
Oh god, it's gonna get weirder, isn't it?
It's gonna get weird. I'm gonna make it weird.
Alezi leads the way, I guess.
All right. So all of you head inside?
Yep.
All right.
Una's gonna be kind of the last one in because she's still eyeballing one of the gargoyles.
The gargoyle eyeballs back. No. You head inside, and the interior is very well lit between sunlight coming in from the many windows and the floating orbs of light that produce a warm, gentle glow distributed apparently randomly throughout the interior. Like the whole thing is well lit and very inviting. The first two, the building outside was 5 stories tall. The first 2 stories are actually one huge chamber. Above you, you can see rafters with living ivy actually hanging over and growing around it, with various flowers growing from them in all sorts of colors. This is clearly not a natural plant, but it is a plant and it does appear to be alive. You can actually see, so there are tables all around with a few people distributed between them, all of which seem to be having hushed conversations between each other. And you can even see a couple of groups that are actually sitting on the rafters, dangling their legs down, and having conversations like that. You can see the actual bar at the center of the first room. It's a circular island with 4 people inside taking orders. And there are several waiters and waitresses going around as well. They have a uniform. The men are all dressed in tuxedo suits, black tie, black slacks, black coat, very formal. And some of the women are also in that suit, but some of the women are in frilly black dresses with low cut top held up by straps, with a little ribbon at the front around the waist, replacing a belt. The serving people are mostly human, but you see one halfling running around, and also a halfling man, and you see a orc woman who seems to have some sort of levitation spell cast on her, and she is serving the people who are waiting in the rafters.
Was right. This place is weird. I love it.
one of the barmen, a older-looking human man, waves as you enter and goes, "Welcome to the Spreading Rumor. I don't think I've seen you lot before. Come, let's speak." And he beckons you forward.
We go forward. Or I go forward.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Alezi follows.
So this is an older human man. He looks to be maybe in his 60s. He is mostly bald. He has a small ring of gray hair around his head and is maybe 5'5" tall, deeply wrinkled skin. He has deeply wrinkled brown skin, a big nose, and a toothy grin. Kind of a thin frame, but overall, he's wearing the tuxedo suit, as I mentioned before. Very inviting smile, and he's like, "Welcome, welcome. My name's Gideon. Nice to meet you."
Hello, I'm Oona. It's
Oona.
nice to meet you too.
He looks to the others.
Alezi.
Alezi.
My
Flynn.
Flynn.
My name is Rhodes. Pleasure
Rhodes.
to meet you.
Welcome. What can I get you?
Oona, this is your deal. You're taking charge.
I mean, just drinks. What are you drinking? It shouldn't be hard, guys.
Do you have any tea?
Certainly. What kind?
Chai.
Chai. I will get... I don't think we have any prepared for you. I will get a kettle on in just a moment. What about the rest of you?
I'll have what she's having.
Okay.
Water's fine.
Sure. He brings up a small bottle of chilled water. It's equivalent to a plastic bottle.
Alezi just holds her hand up like she's not having an order.
Very well. So he reaches below the counter and brings out a couple of tea bags for the chai and starts filling a kettle with a sink that you actually can't see below the bar. Like, there's definitely a whole lot of equipment on the other side of the bar. And if you look at the opposite end, you can definitely see that there's a whole bunch of stuff set up below the bar for people to drink. So, you guys just wandering around?
Yeah, we're checking it out. This is my first time on Busker's Row, and somebody recommended this lovely tavern.
Huh, who was it?
His name was Carl with a K.
You don't know with the K bit. No. He
Uh,
never said that. He never said that
Then how do we know it's with a K?
because I told you.
I
You
thought
know
that's
what,
how
out
he
of-
introduced himself.
No, he introduced himself as Carl. That's all he said. Anyway,
Okay.
whatever.
We're just supposed
We're
to
on a
assume
time
it's
limit.
with a K?
We're on a time limit. He nods, goes, "Oh yeah, the boy was here a few days ago, I think. I don't think he'll be coming back, though."
No, he said he was somewhat disappointed, but that it was still good service.
Well, that was nice of him. You can hear the start of a tea kettle boiling below the bar.
Could I, by chance, ask who owns this establishment?
Oh, that would be the lady rumormonger. We don't actually know her full name. She doesn't like to give up any of her information, but she's a wealthy old elven woman who is just eager to hear rumors. She's a quaint old lady. I've seen her once or twice before, but she's very hands-off. She doesn't come out of her room in the top floor very much.
Okay, I gotta say, eager to hear rumors? Hard same.
Rhodes is actually a little old lady.
I mean, Rhodes didn't say that. I'm saying that. I live for drama.
Hard same as long as it doesn't involve me.
Yeah. Then it's not drama, then it's just a problem.
Anyway,
It's like, how does she hear rumors if she stays up in her room all day?
he points to the little glowing balls of light over inside. She can hear through what I...
Huh. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Spooky.
That's a little messed up.
Well, she offers a place for information brokers to gather and do their business. In exchange, she listens in. It's a simple
It's not
transaction.
it's not like she's trying to hide it, so I don't see a problem with it.
It's the cost of doing business here. Even by
Can
elven
we-
terms, she's quite old, as I understand it. I hope she is all right.
Can
her
we
time must be
insight
on
this
us.
guy?
You may.
Alright.
17. Is he putting on an act?
9.
I'm not rolling.
19.
Oh, jeez.
He appears to be completely genuine.
Holy shit. For the audience's sake, he rolled a 27.
Yes.
We shouldn't be able to see that. We shouldn't be able to see DM rolls.
Yeah, I've been very strongly considering making a separate channel for myself to do this. I probably
There are some
will
rules
next.
that I wish we couldn't see, because knowing that he had to roll something.
Put that on table talk.
Yep.
Table talk. Yeah, go write that down right now, Red.
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
completely serious. Anyway, so yeah, he appears to be totally genuine.
Okay, I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask before we started doing that insight check. I heard this is the kind of place where you trade stories or information for information.
Certainly is. Certainly is. You heard right. He brings up a couple of teacups and pours out a couple of cups of chai tea. High quality, too.
I'll be the judge of that.
I don't know how tea works, so I'm just telling you it's good.
I don't either, so it's leaf water.
Yeah, I hate tea. I cannot stand
I love
it. It tastes,
tea. I kind of want to make you roll for it.
it tastes like...
Water.
I've never tasted any tea that doesn't taste like just grass. We can table talk that if you really want to, but this has been...
I think Rhodes likes tea, but let's go on.
Yeah, this has been Dox's Opinion Corner.
Oh,
I have an extremely short amount of time now.
Right.
Okay.
So here's what we can do, because I do want to get more stuff done with the rest of you. Would Alezi be willing to just walk out as the performers? Like, you can hear music coming in from outside. The performers are actually beginning their shows.
Yeah, she can do that. While everyone's talking, she's not really in the conversation. She hears the ambient music coming from outside, so she just decides to step out and see the opening acts.
All right. Since you're not going to be here for it, why don't you go ahead and do your sign out?
Alright, this is KQ. I've been playing Alezi the Barbarian. Really interesting session today. Love playing with you guys, as always. Looking forward to the next session. And my links will be in the description below, so you audience members can go check those out. And I'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Right.
So yeah, Alezi walks out to listen to the music, and yeah, that's that.
I asked a question before that happened. I can't remember what it was now.
I can't
Was it
hear.
about
Damn it.
The tea came up.
you asked, this is the sort of place where you can trade information.
And he said, "Yeah, you've heard right. You've heard right." What,
So how does that work? If it,
well-
because you said it's the price of doing business that she gets to hear everything.
Well, I mean, you have to talk about it. If you really want to keep it secret, there might be a few people who can communicate silently, and if you can do that, that's also fair game. The rumor monger does respect secrets, so if you really need to not talk about it, then that's fine, as long as you have the means to do it yourself. If you say it out loud, she's going to hear. But as far as how to do it, you find somebody who has the information you're looking for, and you talk. I can point you to 4 people who might be of interest to you. So, if you'd like.
How do you know what I'm looking for?
I don't. I'm just telling you what's available. If you have a specific...
Would any of these 4 particularly enjoy a story from Trelendor? I bet those are rare around here.
Let's see. Depends on what sort of story. So let me just go through the 4 big players who are here today so far. These are people who come here nearly every day and just hang around and tell their stories. So first there's this one over here, and he points to a halfling man who is sitting on a few seats away on the bar. He is as usual, a very slim halfling. He has very, very close-cropped black hair, a gnarled, wrinkled face. He looks to be fairly old. He has a wiry build, and you can see that he's carrying at his side a saber that would be pretty easy for a normal-sized person to hold, but he would probably need to wield it two-handed. You see a few plates of loose wooden armor, and he has a tricorn hat on the bar that would fit him just right. You see that his left hand is a monotech prosthetic that is slightly larger than it's supposed to be on his arm. It looks like it might have been meant for a human, but he's a halfling. So the barkeep goes, that's Rogden Left Hand. And he has all sorts of stories. As I understand it, when he was younger, he was a sailor and adventurer out in the seas to the west. Trelendor is far enough away that he might be interested. He then points upward, and hanging around in the rafters, you actually see a familiar figure. This is Shauna, the servant of the Muse, and you saw her at the Blood in the Sand fight.
She was the other healer, right?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. He points.
So do I know her?
You would have only met her briefly at the Blood in the Sand tournament. You don't know her very well.
Okay.
You were contacted separately, so that's your only interactions would have been slightly before and during the tournament. You got the impression that she was kind of a space cadet.
I'm 12. What does that mean?
Okay. Her head's in the clouds a lot.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
She's prone to daydreaming and has a bit of a short attention. Anyway, he points up.
Yeah.
He points up there and goes, Shauna as well is always up for stories and has some interesting experiences of her own to share. I think it would be better to ask her for details. Do you guys need a description again?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't remember anything about her, and I don't have anything written down.
She's slim with a wiry figure, looks very, very thin. She's a human woman. She has long, bright blue hair hanging freely down to her hips. And while she's up in the rafters, she kind of lays back on them, and the hair actually cascades down. She has angular facial features. She might have had distant elven ancestry. Like her face looks slightly elven in nature. She's wearing a very low-cut, sleeveless blouse with a short skirt, but while she's up in the rafters, you see that she's also wearing spats beneath, because that's gonna happen. She has very pale skin, covered in tattoos depicting vague humanoid figures and dancing poses. He then points to the corner of the bar, or the corner of the establishment, one of the few places where there's a bit of shadow to be seen. And he goes, "That one over there is Murmur."
Right.
You see it's definitely a man, but he is covered in robes and a face mask that conceals most of his features. All you can see is that he has tanned skin, black eyebrows, and blue eyes. Other than that, you see a set of elaborate kind of ritual robes. His mask covers his nose with what looks like a bird's beak. Sort of configuration, but his mouth is clearly revealed, and there's a very small hole in the mask through which he has poked a pipe and is slowly smoking away. His hood has ornaments that look kind of like horns going straight up. He wears dark robes that fade from dark red to dark purple. He has a few plates that look like brass sewn into the robes, just circular plates bolted into the robes in seemingly random positions. You see, he has
know when you need to eat.
Womp womp womp. He has a short sword at his hip, and a raven perches on his shoulder.
Is it a half mask or is it a full mask?
Yeah.
It's a full mask. Like, all you can see is the space around his eyes.
Oh, okay. So it goes all the way around. Okay.
Anyway, that's Murmur, and he has various. He has an interest for forbidden lore, you might say, an interest in the dark arts, but he can be difficult to speak to. You'll see when you talk to him, if you talk to him. And finally, we have that woman over there. He points to a seat near the entrance, and you see a heavy-set woman in traditional witch's garb. The full steepled hat, black dress. The dress has red lining and like red frills coming off of it. You can see underneath the witch's hat that she has short blonde hair that appears to be tied up into a bun. You can't see much of her face under the hat, but you would get she has pale skin, and you would guess that she's in her 40s or 50s. Quite heavy set, and she walks with a cane and has a large tome on the table that she's casually writing in. And the barkeep says, "That's Matilda, and she is interested in arcane knowledge."
Flynn would like to choose to talk to Murmur.
All right, I'm not surprised.
What was Murmur's specialty again?
I heard two people at once.
Go ahead, Red.
What was Murmur's specialty again?
Dark knowledge, forbidden arts.
That actually probably would be your best bet for Vecna.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm wondering, it's implied that everything you say in the tavern, the old woman hears, but not everyone in the tavern hears, right?
That's right. Like the proprietress hears it, but whoever, you have to be actually listening to hear it elsewhere. And people seem to be respecting each other's space in a big way here.
And I'm also assuming that by title of it being rumor, a literal rumor mill, any story you say is fair game to be told again.
Probably.
Mm,
You can ask that out loud if you want, but that's not an unreasonable assessment.
yeah. I think Rhodes looks interested in going to the dark arts guy, and then considers that he doesn't actually just want to spread rumors of Vecna's existence at all. So
what's he do?
he's gonna head up to Shauna.
Shauna, okay. And what's Oona up to?
Well, first I want to ask the Bart.
Yeah, Rhodes isn't going anywhere until like the party splits.
Of course. I'm assuming everybody's splitting up here. Where's Oona going?
I want to ask the bartender because you said you talked to Carl before. So you know about his little problem.
Certainly.
He didn't get the information he was after, and I kind of offered to help get it. And I was wondering who you would recommend talking to try and get that information he was after.
Well, given the nature of his problem, I think it would be, like, Matilda would know the most about it, but if you're looking for a solution, I think you might be better off talking to Rogden. So it depends on how you want to approach it.
Which one's Robin?
The pirate.
Why would the pirate know?
He's traveled much further.
Exactly.
Yes.
I want a solution for him. He definitely deserves that.
In that case, I think your better bet is Rogden, but I also want to tell you that I don't think that there is a solution. So don't get your hopes up. It might be better to talk to Matilda to learn more about what you're first.
Rhodes nods. I was afraid of that. Yes.
Okay. I want to insight check the bartender.
Certainly.
Why would he lie?
And I always forget I don't have any insight.
The bard with no insight.
I got a 6.
You got no idea.
I will too. Because I'm here. What's mine? Oh, it's a 2. Cool.
Rose is just really distracted.
You aren't sure, but you think he's being honest. Like, you get the idea that this guy is there to direct people, so he would be more forthright.
It's the information desk.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Then I'll go talk to. I want to talk to Matilda first.
All right. Before you go, he refills your tea for each of you and bids you good day. Let's cut off for the night then. Yeah. So that'll be the end of our session. Good session, everyone. So first of all, I liked this game. I thought that was a good way to I've been very much looking forward to introducing the spreading rumor. I suspect that this place is going to be very important in this campaign.
Really?
Yeah, I suspect so. I mean, I don't know, I don't really have a full game plan yet because you guys this is a sandbox game. You guys are kind of doing whatever you want to do, and I haven't run a sandbox game in a long time. Most of my games have a goal in mind from the beginning. So this has been interesting, and I think that this is going to be a place where you start a lot of quests.
Is this where we're going to start a lot of quests and pick them up and then, never actually finish them because we pick up another quest on the way to that quest? That is my favorite kind of quest.
Yo, that could happen. It's D&D, bitches. We can do whatever we want.
I don't think I've ever been in a sandbox, sort of. I'm used to having a healthy, not a terrible bout, but a good hand to hold, a healthy amount of railroading, I say. That's generally what I've experienced.
Yeah, so this is gonna be this is interesting. We might end up in that case, but these are characters that, for the most part, Rhodes excluded, are very self-interested, and it may be that this is not a party that's interested in saving the world, and that's fine. So we'll see. But
Rhodes is gonna leave them to go find an adventuring party that actually gives a shit.
I mean, hey, if that's how Rhodes' involvement in this game happens, then maybe that's what happens.
I hope not. I love Rhodes.
I hope. Well, I mean, we'll figure it out. Like, it's not like the characters don't give a shit. It's just there's not enough there for them to grab on at this point, I think. Like, Rhodes also has a very personal involvement with what has been happening. So
yeah, which was completely accidental and came off of one critical roll.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I do think that this place is going to be a hub for you.
We're going to be exchanging a lot of stories.
Yeah, I might be wrong though, and if I'm wrong about that, that's fine. It's D&D. Things happen.
All right. So, Red wanted to talk about the discussion about attractiveness of NPCs.
Yeah. So for a little background, this came after the session where I introduced Lionel. And at one point, I actually linked for most of these characters, I have a picture that I use to guide my descriptions, and I linked the one that I use for Lionel, and multiple people were like, "Oh shit, he's hot," and it's like that seemed like a surprise to me, and I started thinking maybe I have been intentionally avoiding talking about this character looks attractive or this character looks plain in my descriptions. My hope has been that the descriptions themselves would actually cover that. But since Lionel's relative attractiveness seemed to be a surprise, I've been reconsidering that.
I hoped you would, because I don't think it's ever come into play, but retroactively it has. I think Rhodes has been somebody of the lover. He, at least to the people he is attracted to, he has he's a huge pushover and has a lot of leniency, which retroactively explains why he even offered his services to Lionel.
So I'm not following entirely. Do you I remember when we were talking about it, we voted for me not putting that into the descriptions, but it sounded like you just said that you want that.
No, I do, but only because it pertains to my character, not because I want to know are they fuckable? Mostly because it guides how I act.
Mm-hmm.
That may be something, because I personally think it's fine to just give them the description. You don't have to say if they're attractive or not. You can be like, oh, they're about average, or whatever. I personally would prefer not to. So if that's something that you really think needs to be relevant to Rhodes' character, maybe
Well, I'm thinking I start asking do I find them attractive?
I mean, I just figured Docs could just message you saying yes, he's attractive. And none of the rest of us
as
have to get it in there.
KQ said, because she's not here, so I'll speak on her behalf. Attractiveness is very personal.
Yep. I know.
I said that as well.
What Rhodes finds attractive, Flynn might not find attractive, Oona might not find attractive, so on and so forth. And also, for me personally, oftentimes a character you've designed forces you to RP them in a way you don't really want to because of the way you've made them. And Flynn is very much a flirt, and if I think that a certain character is attractive, that's going to change his motivations in a thing, and I don't want that to be his main motivations with every NPC.
Well, I mean, some of these NPCs are not going to be traditionally attractive, So maybe that change. It's something that we need to figure out, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think the way to do it is to ask me after the description, and I can add on by X standards, this character would be considered attractive. Because, for example, the difference between what an elf finds attractive and an orc finds attractive would be massive.
Yeah.
So it's something that we would have to do on a case-by-case basis. At some point, it might be that I need to get an idea of for Flynn and Rhodes, at least, I think I would need to get an idea of what they're attracted to at some. It seems like Alezi and Oona are not sexually motivated characters, and so maybe for them it's not that important. But Flynn and Rhodes very much are, so maybe that's something I need to know.
I did, during a little bit of downtime during that session, finally nail down Rhodes' romantic and sexual past. Not that I'm going to spoil it right now, but I have it written out.
I do need to get that at some point, but we'll do that
I'll
later.
send it to you. Yep.
What else do we have? Secret DM roles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some roles that I just don't want to see.
Yeah, that I understand that. So my philosophy up till now has definitely been one of openness, and it's just how I've rolled games in the past. In the past, I have rolled my dice openly, and I think that that's just a matter of fairness. But I do see what you mean. The fact that the barkeep Gideon had to roll something is a giveaway that something does.
Yeah.
So maybe
unless you make a policy saying every time you think there might be a roll, I might roll even if the character.
I mean, I have already done fake roll. That does happen.
Yeah, and I think those are funny.
Yeah.
I think my personal suggestion would be to keep combat rolls open, just so we know and are able to keep track of our numbers and everything. But RP rolls that might be like super high, might end up being super high and might discourage us. Maybe those you keep off the board.
That could work. I might do that. I will ponder this before the next game, and I think it's going to be a little while for our next game since the artists are doing their convention thing.
It's only for a few days.
Yeah, but it'll be next week at the very earliest. But we'll see. That's something I will ponder.
What else?
Okay. You have fear on here?
No.
That was in response to KQ's thing.
That was
okay.
You posted a picture of a knife and a table. You posted something though that we haven't discussed.
Oh, Oona and her, that was definitely sexual attraction
That was
thing.
great. That was a great moment.
Well, I realized, so Oona has a background where she has romantic ideas, but I haven't really had the opportunity to present that. So when you said there were two guys arguing, I was like, Oona would definitely think they were just getting it out of their system. Like that's, even after they got done fighting, she's like, they'll make up later, it's fine.
That's so good. I love that too because I think we've touched on this before, but Rhodes is kind of socially awkward in certain points, but the one place he's definitely not socially awkward is romantic and sexual stuff.
Yeah, so I thought that would work well with Una's character, who doesn't notice when other people are flirting with her anyway.
Yeah,
because she's like, no, that's definitely they're flirting.
Yeah, I've definitely you have
not.
put across the idea that Oona is, in spite of her romantic ideas, is actually pretty ignorant about how all of that works. I think you put that forward very well, and I think it's an interesting way to present the character. I like it.
Okay, I wanted feedback on that. That's why I asked if we can discuss it. So
yeah,
that's good.
I do like
good.
it. It's there's a danger of that becoming tropey, I think, but it hasn't happened yet. Like so far, I think you've managed it very well.
It's to cover my own personal awkwardness, so
Yeah.
it works well for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I do want to hear more about this Rhodes and Flynn argument, since they just made up and are arguing again.
Yeah, Jesus. Literally not even a day.
The thing is, Flynn, I'll grant that he might be a little too loose about it, but he thinks Rhodes is way too uptight about it. There will always be fist fighting. They said, not 2 minutes before that fight began, this is a very common thing in this sector of town. And it's a very common thing in all sectors of town. And you're going to see lots of fist fights, I think. Rhodes is going to see lots of fist fights. And he's not always going to be able to break them up. And the bridge thing, that wasn't really our problem either. That was just something we stumbled upon and wasn't really
In my defense
for our
about the
party.
bridge thing, I didn't know whether it was just sort of like random lore happening around us or actually the start of something new.
Yeah,
Oh.
but like
I didn't know how much I was supposed to investigate there.
If we're gonna get into
the combination of that, plus it makes sense for Rhodes in character at the moment to be like very tense and a little paranoid at the moment. But the fact that you immediately went to this might be terrorism, Flynn thought that was very ridiculous of you.
But it was also perfectly in character.
Yeah.
the whole
I have-
argument and everything was very in character.
I didn't know,
I have
like,
zero
how-
objections to how that went. That was fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flynn, as I said, Flynn might be too loose about
Mm-hmm.
random fighting, but Rhodes is very too uptight about it. There probably needs to be a middle ground there.
Well, it's also something, this has been part of Rhodes' character for a while, and it connects back to him being a paladin of the lover. He has a very specific worldview about how he views bodies. Not necessarily that, your body is your temple, and you have to exercise and eat well, but sort of like care for the body. And the way I think about it is in terms of how Walt Whitman writes about the body, and how he says you can't really separate the soul and the body because they are one. Like if you read through I Sing the Body Electric, that's Rhodes. That's him talking about how bodies are wonderful and can do all these wonderful things. Yeah, so it's a very specific worldview of if I can prevent injury, I will.
But also, I think that the worst that was going to happen there was a few black eyes. Like, I don't think it was a very dangerous fight.
Oh no, it's not, but it's totally in character for Rhodes to not want to see people get hurt.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
it's
think
totally in character for Flynn to think that Rhodes is overblowing.
yeah. So
No,
I
it was a
like
good
I
fight.
like how that relationship is developing.
Yeah.
Overall. Did we have anything else?
I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get a chance for Rhodes and Oona to act. We've been
We
talking
keep
about
trying every fucking every week. We gotta do something. Something might have happened there at the end had we not blown away, which is why I didn't want to step away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's funny that every single time we're having something where it's like, oh, Oona and Rhodes can finally have a moment, and it turns into Rhodes and Flynn, and I'm like, well, I guess that's it now.
Yeah.
And the Oona and Flynn talk is coming soon. That's pretty unavoidable.
Yes,
Yeah.
where I'm looking forward to that. I'm like cackling and like,
What are they going to talk about? I don't even remember.
Well, she's the only one that Flynn hasn't apologized to.
what is the name of the guy from The Simpsons who's evil, who runs a nuclear power plant?
Mr. Burns?
Mr. Burns.
Okay, yeah, I keep doing the
I almost
Mr.
said
Burns
Mr.
finger
Big.
thing. Yeah, but I keep like doing the finger thing that Mr. Burns does and just going excellent.
It's called the Scholar's Steeple.
Oh, okay. Well, where he taps it together.
Flynn still has no idea what he's going to say to Oona either.
Yep, and you're not
What
getting
is he-
any hints.
What does he particularly have to apologize about?
Well, for one, lying about who he is, and
Right.
Yeah, you guys got all those
And
deep,
his-
intense conversations. Oona
and
didn't
his
get shit.
decisions his decisions have hurt everyone in this party, including Oona.
Yeah, I guess there's that.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. Are we looking for? I know. You know what? I feel like eventually it's just going to be you and me, Red, and Doc's going like, okay, you guys are going to go have a picnic in the woods because I can't get you
Hopefully.
guys any fucking character time. And then we run into a bunch of like monsters or something and have to fight them.
Flynn charges in with a bunch of monsters, like, trying to have a date? Not on my watch!
Hey, you never know how Flynn's conversation with that murmur guy might go. Something might happen that might make it that you two are alone.
Oh.
Actually,
Okay, Flynn's gonna die, I guess.
Or he'll learn something that makes him want to run out immediately or something. I don't
Suddenly
know.
playing shifts. Flynn casts Blink.
Blink.
Holy shit, that was hard to say.
That's actually a spell I want Flynn to learn one day.
It's a good spell.
actually, right now is a really good time because since we have these after table talks, I know we don't have a whole lot of listeners yet, but if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to comment on the videos with questions that we can talk about in post-game chat, or you can email us at our email. So if you're
Ask me
interested in
about my
that.
car insurance. Do I have car insurance? Yeah, I do.
Do you have a car, Red?
Yeah, I have a Mini 3-door.
I didn't need that much
Le old
information.
Geico.
It has a bumper sticker that says my other horse is a ghost.
All right, did we have anything else we want to talk about?
In addition to commenting on YouTube or wherever these end up eventually, because I don't expect, I have ambitions. In addition to commenting on YouTube or wherever, sending us an email, we also have a Twitter that you can talk.
Oh yeah, I run that.
Yeah,
you can also message us on Twitter.
Scott, tell us about your stuff.
My comic is just going as usual.
Didn't it just come back from hiatus?
Yeah, but
By
that
the time
won't.
this gets posted,
Yeah.
it'll have been going.
It'll be long out of hiatus.
Like, this is going to be at least 2 weeks from now, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trudging along as normal.
What's it
Cool.
called?
Oh, we're doing outros?
Yeah, I think it's time for outros.
Okay. So yeah, I'm
I was trying to
Scott.
do a smooth
I'm known as
transition.
Squirrel Bro in a lot of places, and I've got my comic, which is betweenthelines.comic.com, and I've got a Patreon, which is at patreon.com/squirrelbro.
Excellent. Red, what about you?
I don't know. I'm some places. I'm trying to get more active. But as usual, it's time for Red's Corner, where I plug something I don't do. I've been kind of catching up with the podcast No Such Thing as a Fish, which is a fact podcast put on by the people who run QI in Britain. Great. It's very
What?
funny. It's an amazing podcast. I've been listening for years and years and years, and it brings me so much joy every time. So if you like facts and funny stuff, that's where you should go.
I might look that up.
It's great.
I will be.
I love it.
Renee, what about you?
All right. Well, I've been Renee. As usual, my links are down below. Since this is the month of October, and this will go out during the month of October, I am participating in Inktober, which you can see my efforts on that on pretty much every social media platform that I am in right now. So feel free to look through there. And I think that's it for me.
Cool. And I am Proven Paradox. I don't have anything active right now. I think that's everything. So thank you very much for listening. Players, thank you for playing. It's been fun. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.